I'm here. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I went live on the wrong page. I'm gonna just cancel that right now. So how is everybody? Just gonna wait a little bit so you guys can hop on and Facebook can let other people know that we're live. Oh, I guess it didn't. I guess I don't have to worry about that. It didn't go on my page. So, hello. When you hop on, just let me know who you are and where you are from. That would be wonderful. I'm just going to double check the page, make sure we're live. And we are. We are. Looks like there's a little bit of a delay on the page. Let me just make sure volume is down so I can see comments, because comments were not coming up on my screen. So I have my iPad right here next to me, right there. So if you comment, I will see it. I am going to do this class kind of like I did the last one. I'm just kind of off the cuff. I did not write notes. I'm going to use my own personal experience, and I'm going to apologize right now. I have a wonky light, and it keeps going bright to dim to bright to dim. I need to replace it, but I haven't yet gotten to the store to replace it. So apologies if you see the light come on and off and come on and off. So so definitely let me know who you are. I really want to get to know some of you guys a little bit better. I've been coming in here doing these classes for a few weeks now, and I'm not sure if these things are landing for you or not. I would like to get some feedback, and getting to know you would help me do that. So today we're going to talk about properly supporting our animals through illness. And I say properly because a lot of the times when we have an animal that is going through a sickness or an illness, we kind of miss some of the cues that they're sick, and a lot of times money comes into play and our animals don't get the proper veterinary care. I will tell you right now, yes, I do healings on animals. Yes, I'm an animal spirituality facilitator, but when you have a veterinarian that you can trust, they are a vital part of animal companionship. It is as important as if you had a child and that child had a pediatrician. That's where I put my priority a lot. A lot of the things that I talk about, a lot of things that I do are considered alternative therapies, but they are as a supplement to traditional veterinary care. An animal needs a doctor. It's just as simple as that. If you can't afford one, that you need to find a way that you can do that. I can tell you, I don't know about in Australia. I'm sure there's something like this. My cat has health insurance. And we also have a credit company that is for medical or dental or just healthcare. It's called Care Credit. And what we do is we have the health insurance and we have the Care Credit. The Care Credit works like a credit card, but you can choose like 3-month interest free, 6-month interest free, 12-month interest free. So you have time to pay it back before you get the interest compounded onto it. We actually use the care credit to pay for our vet bills, and then when the insurance reimburses us for that, that money goes straight to the care credit. So it kind of is a little bit of a revolving thing, but it allows us to have a little bit of comfort when it comes to when our animals get sick. I currently have an 18-year-old cat, and she just had a bout of pancreatitis. That's scary in a cat, because cats, being obligate carnivores, they share a single bile duct with the pancreas and the liver. So when the pancreas gets inflamed, normally the liver follows suit shortly thereafter. So we had to jump on it very quickly. And we were able to do what we needed to. And then I did my alternative stuff on top of that. And she's 100% back to normal. But if you are a animal guardian, you need to have some form of some way to be able to take care of your animals as you would take care of your children. Get them to the doctor when they are sick. And that's my number one thing that I just want to stress right now, because no matter what you do, as far as alternative cares, whether you're using essential oils, which are tricky with cats, I want to let you know that they're very tricky with cats. But when you're using essential oils, when you are doing crystal therapy, energy therapy, Reiki therapy, any type of alternative therapy, acupuncture, chiropractic therapy, yes, that happens for animals too. There are animal chiropractors out there. But you always have to have a traditional veterinarian on speed dial. It's really important. Oh, hello, Rebecca. How are you? Okay, just for a few minutes. That's fine. I'm going off the cuff today. So that's my number one thing that I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people do not put that as a priority when you are an animal companion. But having a doctor, a veterinarian on speed dial is very important. Find somebody you trust, and you form a team in the care of your animal. So that's number one. Number two is awareness. And here's where some of the spirituality aspects come in. We need to be very aware of our animals, just as you would be aware with your child. If an animal has runny eyes or a runny nose, there could be something beyond that. Actually, most times there is. I could tell you, my cat, before I knew she had pancreatitis, the one thing I kept noticing, and it was kind of bothering me, and I didn't know why it was there, but it was something I kept an eye on. Her one eye was constantly running and tearing. I have no idea if that was in response to the pain that she was feeling that I did not see any representation of, because the animals are very stoic. I don't know, but now that she's better, her eye is no longer running. So that was one of my first tip-offs that something was not right. So you be aware of your animal. You have to figure out what is normal for your animal. When you know they're 100% healthy, pay attention to how they act, how much they sleep, how much they play, how much they obey, how relaxed they are. And then you will have a kind of a yardstick to notice if there's something that might be off when the animal starts becoming ill. The one thing we have to remember, that an animal is not going to tell us that they're sick. They will never do that, because instinctually speaking, if they were to show signs of illness or vulnerability in the wild that would get them killed. So we have to remember they are still connected to their instinctual energy. Oh no! Well, there's been a lot of geometric storms, so that could be part of it. There's been a lot of solar flares and a lot of solar storms lately. So that could be it. That could be it. So an animal, because they are so connected to their instinctual nature, they will not tell you that they are sick, especially cats. Cats are extremely stoic because most cats are, in the wild, are very solitary. They may have groups like in stray cat feral colonies, but ultimately it's not a hierarchy social structure like wild dogs have. So cats are less likely to show you if they are ill. A dog, it's a little bit easier to tell, but you need to pay attention. So awareness is the second key. First key is to have a veterinarian that you trust on speed dial. Find a way to set up a system where you can get your animal proper care, veterinary care, if and when something happens. You always should put that as a priority. The second key is to be aware. Make sure that you can tell when something is off. And listen to your animal. And then here's where the communication comes in. Your animal will subtly, very subtly, let you know something is wrong. And it's in the eyes. It's in the eyes. They may not physically show signs right away, but you will see something different in their eyes. So, second key is awareness. Always be aware. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is, okay, so you have your veterinary care set up. You are being aware. Now let's just put you in a hypothetical situation. You have an ill animal. After a veterinary visit, very important, just like a child, you want to get them the proper care. But we need to start focusing on, when we have an ill animal, we have to focus on our energy output. We have to focus on how we handle the situation, because animals are very sensitive. As we've talked about in other classes, animals are very sensitive to our energy. So if we start being fearful that we have a sick animal, we are going to cause stress in that animal. We mentioned stress last week. So there are ways that we need to actually detach ourselves, create space and distance a little bit so we can think clearly. We need to think clearly. We need to put the animal's needs first, not our emotional needs, but the animal's needs first. Make sure they drink enough water. Make sure they have high quality nutrition. Make sure they're getting proper rest and not too much rest. But if they were sick, if they were really seriously sick, letting them sleep is a good thing, because animals do heal themselves. So when they do go into a mode of healing, they may not eat as much, and they may sleep a lot. But the big thing you need to pay attention to is their drinking. drinking is essential. It helps create an environment within the body where the animal can have less stress, like actual kind of that subtle, that sympathetic nervous system stress. Water is essential. If they're drinking too much, and you can't get them away from the water bottle, get them to a vet. Something's wrong. They may have diabetes, their sugar may be off, their kidneys may not be working. It's very important to do that. So we need the main thing about this part of the whole process is we need to maintain our presence in the situation. And we need to think clearly. We need to not react and only respond. So let's say you have an animal that's so sick that they might be having seizures or something like that. You need to seriously kind of try as best as you can to keep your energy contained. I call this is a spirituality term, I call this non-attachment. And this is non-attachment with compassion. Because when you get all flustered and when your mind starts kicking in and you start getting nervous and your energy gets all riled up, this is actually a detriment to the animal who is trying to heal. This interrupts their process. And being able to create that space and have that non-attachment and stuff like this allows you to be more compassionate. And being compassionate with your animal is so important. And I'm not talking about overbearing love. I'm not talking about getting so smothering as far as like, I need to take care of you, I need to take care of you. You need to allow the animal to have its space. You have to kind of go into a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say robotic, because it's really not a robotic way of doing things, because you are being very compassionate, you are being very aware and very mindful. It's a very conscious way. I guess that would be the best way. You need to handle this very consciously. Quiet pets, keeping them as relaxed as possible. All of these things will allow the animal to do what it needs to do to properly self-heal without having the interruptions of fear energy and I guess fear energy is probably the best term I can come up with. So this is really important. So we have, make sure you have a system in place, a veterinary care system. Be aware and mindful of how your animal is when they are healthy, so you can see when things are kind of off. And then if you end up in a situation where your animal is actually ill, you need to practice non-attachment and be as compassionate as possible for the animal. We need to remove ourselves from the equation. I believe this also goes true with, humans that we take care of. When anything that we care about and anyone that we care about, human or animal, gets ill, we need to pull back a little bit, detach a little bit, so we can properly take care of them, be clear-headed and move compassionately through the process. I can tell you, I have had, and the reason why I'm going off the cuff here is because I have a lot of experience here in this aspect. I don't know if it's just the universe's way of saying, well, we trust you, so you're going to get these animals that are going to be ill. In the last 10 years, I have had, I've had a lot of animals die. Various different reasons. 5 from cancer, 2 from kidney failure, 1 from old age. And each one, it was almost for a while there, I was in hospice care. I called it hospice care, at least once a year for a good 7 years. And I learned a lot of things as I was caring for my animals. Now, I don't have children, so my animals hold that position in my life. So it's a great big impact on me emotionally, physically, mentally when I have an ill child. This past year, yes, I just had my Tic Tac had pancreatitis, and we were able to do that. But last year, my Akiro had multi-organ failure, and it started back in March of last year, and we thought he was going to pass at that moment. I did my magic. I worked on him. He had energy work. He had crystal therapy. He had frequency therapy and sound therapy. And then we had vet care. So we had some medicine and stuff like that. And we actually, vet included, we all thought that he wasn't going to be with us for much longer. Well, 3 weeks later, we bring him back he had gotten better. So we brought him back for a follow-up. And they took his blood again, and his blood was, back to normal. So we had 7 more months. But last September, his organs started failing again. And at this point in time, he was just tired. He had fought so hard back in March. And even with my support, it was a lot of work for him. It was really a lot of work. And then when he got sick in September, I allowed him the space to do what he needed to do. And I listened to him and his needs. And I was able to detach myself. And he was my boy. He was my boy. And I'd had him since he was 3 weeks old. So it was kind of a tough situation for me. But during the second part of his illness, I was able to detach myself enough where I was 100% with him energetically and emotionally. I was able to support him properly. And I was able to help him transition. And I will have I'm thinking our first class in May will be about the beauty of animals who transition. So we go from stress to illness to transition. Because I think these are very important things as far as animal care is concerned. But I was able to do that. And then 2 years prior, his brother ended up having kidney failure. And I was able to keep him at stage 3 for 2 years, but then he flipped into stage 4, and he went really quickly after that. I flipped into stage 4 like 2 weeks before Christmas in 2015, and he passed away January 22nd of 2016. So it was really quick. And again, that was another tough one because he was my teacher and my healer for 2 years before he passed. But I was able to support him, and I was able to do what I needed to do because I detached. They had the proper medical care. I paid attention to everything that was necessary to pay attention to. And then I was able to separate myself enough where I could go through another transition. So that is pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. It's just those 3 major steps. And I don't want to come and make it seem like it's really easy to do this, because it is very difficult, especially when it comes to our animals, because we tend to attach very deeply to our animals. Nothing wrong with that. But when we cannot detach and let go, so what needs to happen can happen, whether it's them getting better, them going to the vet, them transitioning, it does a disservice for us and also for the animals. So it's really important to be present when you are with an ill or a sick animal. You need to be present. You need to be 100% with and for them. Not for ourselves. Not for our emotional support. We tend to use animals as emotional support. But when they are ill, they need our support. And we have to detach from the need to have their support. So just to quick recap. Number 1, make sure you have a system, a veterinary system set. A vet that you trust, that can work with you as a team. A way to afford veterinary care, whether it's pet health insurance, whether it's a designated just vet care credit card, something like that. Just like our children, we need to take care of their health care. You wouldn't let a child lay in bed and die without taking to the doctor, would you? That's the way you need to look at your animals. Because our animals need us. They rely on us. They are not our property. They are separate soul beings that need to be treated as such. So have that system ready and have a vet that you trust on speed dial. That's the number 1 key in how to properly support your animals through illness. The second key is to be aware and to notice the differences between a healthy animal and a sick animal. Just like you would a child. If a child sneezes, you'd pay more attention to whether they're getting sick or not. Well, if an animal sneezes, you pay attention. If they're throwing up too much, you pay attention. If they're not eating, you pay attention. If they're drinking too much, you pay attention. So awareness is the second key. And the third key is non-attachment. Separate yourself enough where you can be truly compassionate to your animal. So you can fully support them and allow them the space they need to heal. Whether it be through vet care, whether it be through keeping their environment relaxed, any yelling or anything from the class we had last week about stress. Take all the stressful situations out of their environment as they're trying to self-heal. And those are the 3 things. And that's what I really wanted to focus. If you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to comment. Tag me, Victoria Stigliano Zuban. I will put my Facebook profile in the description, so at least you can get to me directly if you need to. And yeah, so just let's start a conversation if you need to. These animals need us. They rely on us, and we need to do whatever we need to do to maintain a high level quality of life. And we cannot forget that they want us to share their life, ups and downs. You know, we always want them to share our lives. But animals, they're separate. They're separate soul beings. They want to share their life with us. And that means ups and downs. And they really want that connection. And we can provide that. So that is my class today. So 31 minutes. I did pretty good tonight. So if you if you need to get in touch with me, you can contact Rebecca. She can get to me, or you can go to my Facebook page directly. You can follow me. You can friend me. I do have a animal spirituality group, an animal communication group. It is on the screen. I also have it in the description. If you do share your life with animals and you would like to be a member of my group, I would love to have you. I would love to have you. So that's it. So have a wonderful excuse me. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'm going to get myself ready for my next video, which is on my Facebook page for my Midnight Musings. And thanks so much for allowing me to do this, Rebecca. And I will see you, I believe this is the last class until May. I think May 4th is our next class. Something like that. So it will be the first Friday in May. And I will see you later. Bye.